Good afternoon. This is the Board of County Commissioners meeting. It is Tuesday, November 8th, 2022. It is 2 p.m. and I'm calling this meeting to order. I'm Carolina Mejia. I'm the chair of the board. Vice Chair Ty Menser is excused for today. He is sick. And to my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. Also in the boardroom, we have County Manager Ramiro Chavez, as well as Clerk of the Board Jamie Caldwell. We'll start our meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Commissioner Edwards.
And in turn, I'm going to ask a fellow veteran, retired from United States Army, Mark Moffett. And Mark, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next is the approval of the Tuesday, November 8th, 2022 agenda.
I would move to approve today's agenda for November 8th, 2022.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Ma'am?
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menser's excused. Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, today we have a presentation from Public Health and Social Services and its Veterans Day proclamation.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Lanice Milam. I am the Community Program Manager for Thurston County Veterans Program. I'm also a lifelong child of a military member, as well as spouse and the mother of a proud Navyman. More than a century ago, World War I ended when a truce was signed at 11 a.m. On November 11th, 1918, thus saying, the war ended on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. In 1954, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed a bill proclaiming November 11th as Veterans Day and called upon Americans everywhere to rededicate themselves to the cause of peace. Excuse me. Thurston County has great respect and admiration and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served our country and this community in the armed forces. On Veterans Day, we honor this service and sacrifice of all veterans, living and deceased. Thank you. I now ask for Bill Powell, who is the chairperson of our Veteran Advisory Board. Thank you.
Thank you, Lanice. Commissioners, members of the audience, my name is William Powell. I am a retiree from the Army for 20 years, and I have been serving ever since I've been out of the service, helping veterans and non-veteran. Veteran Day is, to me, it's a reflection of what I have done in the past and what I'm planning on doing in the future, and all my friends I have met and all my friends I have still alive. I have been able to reach out to some veterans. I have been able to reach out to veteran families within the last couple of months here, trying to help them with their Camp Lejeune stuff, because I do have a Marine Corps veteran, if y'all don't think so. I was a Department Service Officer for the American Legion, and I worked at the Federal Building. So if you know a veteran who's a Marine, tell them do not get a lawyer to try to get internet money, because they can do it without a lawyer. Veteran Day means a lot to many people in different ways. It's a time to reflect on those who have came before us, those who have given all, and the family who have given all for those. As I can say of him stand right now, I am blessed to have my spouse and my kids with me, because the country we live in is a free country. Whether you don't like it or do like it, as veterans, we gave everybody the right to protest and do what they want to do. We are not a dictation country. We are a free American. We give the right to all citizens to protest or whatever they want. That's what we fought for. That's what we stand for. Freedom. Thank you, Louise.
Good afternoon. Bruce Sorba, Fleet Services Manager, Army veteran. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you for the support to the veterans in the community through this proclamation.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Kurt Harden, Army veteran, proud Army veteran. I want to start off by saying this is just a sample of all the veterans that are out there in the county that work and serve in our communities. I will tell you that 1% of the people in this country will turn around and put on the uniform to defend the country. So that 1% defending the 99%. I want to reflect on that because I think that's very critical. A lot of people thank us for our service, and I want to, at this point, thank everybody who's a veteran here for their service, but also everybody who can't be here today. I want to thank them and for the dedication, whether they served one enlistment or made it a career. Thank you for the service. Thank you for what you've done. And also, I want to thank the county for what they've done. We have a Purple Heart County. The sign's right there. Hopefully, that's going down to the atrium soon. But we're a Purple Heart County because we care about veterans in this community. And we've always cared about veterans, especially with our with JBLM just to the north, but also we have Naval, we have Air Force, we have Coast Guard, we have Marines, and it's just a wide net that we have that we appreciate and the people that serve. So I want to thank them, but I also want to thank especially the friends and family. We could not do what we did for our country without the support of friends and family. So I want to thank them as well because they put up with the deployments, the long absences, and everything else. So thank them as well, especially since Lanice is here to represent the family members who are critical to our service. Thank you very much. And with that, I was told I could have a half hour, but I'll go ahead and walk off the stage right now.
Thank you, Commissioners. Happy Veterans Day to everyone.
My name's Terry Ballard. I'm a retired 35-year veteran with over 29 years of active duty. I got here in 2004 and I retired in 2012. And I was originally born on Yakima, Wapato, Washington, which is the Yakima Indian Reservation. I enjoy helping other veterans. And when I see a veteran who is no longer serving, I tell him, welcome home. For those who are still serving, I thank them for their service. Thank you.
Mark?
Yeah, that concludes. Kurt always steals my thunder, and so I usually don't speak because Kurt's got it. But really, when it comes to Veterans Day, I always thank the families. You know, I was during the Cold War, I was a private in Germany in the infantry. I was an armor platoon leader in Iraq. I was a dean of students at the Defense Department's language school. I was an Arabic linguist. I was a commander at Fort Lewis at the medical treatment facility at Madigan. So all these great things, and we all have that same experience. But again, what Kurt said about the families, without the support of the family, we can't do it. And so I always thank family members like Lanice and Ashley and my two daughters. Without their resiliency and support, we can't do those type of things. So again, and I really thank the commissioners for their support of the veterans that work for the county and also that live in this county. So thank you so much. That concludes our presentation for today.
Thank you. I know Christina is also the wife of a service. So, yeah, so would you like to say something? Not to put you.
But thank you guys for your service and thank you for supporting our dependents and family members because, yeah, it takes a village in the military family to keep everything sane and stable because nothing's stable in the military.
Thank you. Not to put you on the spot, Christina, or anything, but Commissioner Edwards, any comments, sir?
You know, I'll just take that a little farther that I always don't agree with Hillary, but I do agree that it takes a village when it comes to supporting our military families. And I just want to take this opportunity to echo everything that was said here today. So here I am up on the podium. I get to say something. Well, there's nothing left to say because you folks have said it all. And so I'm going to go ahead and read this proclamation that the county is recognizing veterans today. But thank you all very much for your service. And I can't elaborate much more than that because we wouldn't be here without you. That's the bottom line. We would not be here without the sacrifice many veterans gave, the ultimate sacrifice to keep our country safe. Thank you all very much, and I'm prepared to do a proclamation if you're ready, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. I guess, just echo what everyone said. This day is definitely a reflection time for me. Freedom isn't free, and many families, and Kurt did steal the thunder. That's what I had. Many families have given their sons, their spouses, their significant others, and they have given the ultimate sacrifice. And we have a veteran here on our board. So Commissioner Edwards, thank you for your many years of service, as well as many of the other members who have showed up today. Thank you for your service. I'm ready for a proclamation, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thurston County Veterans Day, November 11th. Whereas Veterans Day is an annual opportunity to honor the American patriots who answered the call of duty to protect our nation and preserve our freedoms. And whereas throughout the rich history of the United States of America, patriotic men and women have taken up arms and sworn an oath to defend our nation and have established an honorable tradition of dedicated service. And whereas our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Coast Guardmen, and merchant Marines, many whom have paid the ultimate sacrifice to ensure our country remains the land of the free, and have made our country, state, and nation proud. Whereas the patriotism of those in uniform who continue to defend the timeless truths and great freedoms on which our nation was founded will continue to serve as inspiration for generations to come. And whereas we will always honor and support the selfless sacrifices and courage of our military spouses, children, and families. And whereas Thurston County is recognized as one of the most military-friendly counties in the state of Washington, with more than 28,000 veterans calling it home. And whereas long after leaving the uniform behind, Thurston County veterans continue to serve our community as public servants, mentors, teachers, community leaders, parents, and neighbors. And whereas with respect for and in recognition of the contributions our service members have made to the cause of peace and freedom around the world, the United States Congress has provided that November 11th of each year shall be set aside as a legal public holiday to honor our nation's veterans. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners hereby proclaims November 11th as Veterans Day in Thurston County and asks the community to come together to remember the sacrifices of all those who fought so valiantly to preserve our heritage and freedom. And let us promote an enduring peace so that their efforts shall not have been in vain. Adopted this 8th day of November, 2022.
All the veterans, please
We're
come
going to
for
get
a
some
picture.
pictures here with our vets.
Family too. We just talked to a lot of old robots here. Ashley.
Come on.
When it comes to Mark, it's not a voluntary.
Well, I got her, we got to get you guys
Is it
around.
too wide, or does the short people need to stand in front?
All right, we're good. Thank you all. Thank you very much. And let's see, who ended up with that? Mark, we got one more signature we gotta put on that.
We'll send out when we get all the signatures.
We'll get those signed. Ty was not able to be here. I know he'd like to be able to sign up on it. Thank you. You folks can all stick around and watch exciting government at work here if you want. Thank you, Mark.
Okay, that will conclude our presentation for today. Next is an opportunity for the public to address the board. The Board of Thurston County Commissioners welcomes comments from the public. However, there are some guidelines governing such comments to ensure they are appropriate and do not take advantage of the fact that most meetings are televised. The general speaking guidelines are as follows. Please introduce yourself, including the address you reside in the county. Please address the board, not the audience or staff. Please silence your cell phones for those members in the boardroom. Speakers are limited to a total of 4 minutes to address the board. Meeting attendees cannot donate their speaking time to another person. No comments that are lewd and offensive, inflammatory, hateful, defamatory, or discriminatory in nature. Please be respectful. No outburst of any kind. No comments that are commercial in nature, such as promotion of a for-profit business. All materials provided to the county may be considered public records, subject to public release upon request, pursuant to the Public Records Act, Chapter 4256 of the RCW. No remarks about pending land use permits or similar matters that could eventually come before the board on appeal, and no electioneering. Thank you so much for your cooperation. With that, we do have a public hearing scheduled today at 3:30, and it is the emergency housing ordinance docket item A24. So if you are here for that, we will be starting that at 3:30. I will call those members who have signed up on the sign-up sheet, and then I'll ask if any other members of the public would like to go, and then we will move on to Zoom. With that, John Pettit.
Thank you, Commissioners. My name is John Pettit. I live in East Olympia. I have sent several correspondence lately regarding the issue of the movement of elected offices to the atrium, of which, of course, state law forbids moving, or you must provide offices available in the courthouse for each elected officer. And I heard an interesting comment today as I was watching at the very end of your meeting. You had Elizabeth Petrich from the prosecutor's office. You had your county manager here, and your county manager wanted to assert to you that there's multiple counties out there that have administrative buildings of which they have moved the offices, such as the treasurer's office, the auditor's office, the assessor's office, into those offices. I will put it this way. I've done extensive research. I think that your county manager has been talking with a forked tongue. Now, a couple of the different counties which might have been within question might be like Pacific County. Pacific County actually has a courthouse, and they have an administrative facility because of the size and nature of the county. But if you take a look at their own list, the assessor's office is located in the courthouse. Not a question. The auditor's office is located in the courthouse. They have supplemental offices down in Long Beach, but the office is located in the courthouse. The treasurer's office is located in the courthouse. You know, to imply that they just move these offices over to another office is blatantly false. And that needs to be dealt with. Then we have a county up in Skagit County. Skagit County has an administrative building also. But you know, their administrative building doesn't have any of those offices in their administrative building. The courthouse in Skagit County, which is in the downtown area, it has the assessor's office, the auditor's office, the treasurer's office, the clerk's office, and various other ones. So I would dare to say that, you know, maybe someone's word needs to be checked. And if he's not telling the truth, I'm sure he'll be happy to resign if he can't provide you the name of organizations that have completely moved their offices, elected officers, out of the courthouse into an administrative building. And mind you, we're talking non-charter counties. If he's not telling you the truth, you're about ready to step into a process of getting an injunction, which will go forward. And I think that it's really sad. It's sad that you want to pick and choose what laws to follow and what laws you don't follow. I'm encouraging you to stop all process until this is properly litigated. Otherwise, you may be into additional millions of dollars worth of costs incurred by having to make a move. My closing comment is going to be, just quickly, Cowlitz County happens to still have all their offices in the courthouse. They moved the Justice Hall over to another spot, but that was done by a vote of the citizens. And so I really think that you need to deal with this issue, and you need to hold people accountable to tell the truth, or you need to remove them. Thank you.
Next, Terry Stanley Ballard.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name's Terry Ballard. I live in Tanglewild, have two places in Tanglewild and one in the city of Olympia. Good afternoon. All documents become public record. You can't choose what doesn't or doesn't belong in the public record. Like all the stuff that Mr. Pettit sends in, that's all public record. If you want to respond to it, that also is a public record. Thurston County BoCC Chair and County Manager consistently are directly responsible for suppression of free speech during the testimony of private citizens in public meetings during a 4-minute allotted of time. Number 2, defunded the Sheriff's Department through lower than inflation pay increases, causing a loss of deputies on the road for public safety. Thurston County has virtually the lowest number of deputies population in the state of Washington. Number 3, used Veterans Fund, Mental Health Fund, and unincorporated fund as a basis to fund the atrium, and county manager told commissioners that a private citizen was lying about it in a commissioners meeting during a public meeting. Number 4, charge of septic fees to citizens that have evidence of no pollution contribution to the Henderson Inlet over 800 homes in unincorporated Tanglewild area alone. 5, gifted the Washington Department of Ecology stormwater fees to the establishment of the lake districts and use funding of the lake districts to fund water quality projects owned by the state of Washington. Number 6, higher Thurston County utility rates and voted to increase again this year, already was the highest in the state. Higher property taxes, the commissioners have voted to increase every year the past 4 years, 4 years plus. Voted to spend $10 million to upgrade a building, the atrium, that doesn't belong to the county, but a multi-million-dollar millionaire who paid only $4 million for that property. Transferred about $4 million per year from unincorporated road fund to the general fund and reduced necessary maintenance of incorporated roads. Voted for additional sales tax to raise nearly $6 million per year from the citizens of Thurston County unincorporated without allowing the citizens to vote. Voted to bond for $52 million debt with plans to charge our county courthouse in a law and Justice Center without allowing the citizens of Thurston County to vote. That would be the unincorporated fund, REIT 1 and REIT 2. Failed to require competitive bidding for millions of dollars of projects under the county commissioners. Failed to clean the road, failed to clean the roof of the courthouse for over 5 years. The courthouse is funded, the course maintenance is funded by every department here, and they use those funds to defer it to something else. And that is all I have today. Thank you very much.
That's all I have on the list. Is there anyone else who would like to provide public testimony?
Hello again, I'm Brett Throwbridge, 5911 Hanson Street Southeast, which is on Patterson Lake. I just handed out these
Just to give us a second. Go ahead, sir.
responses to my Freedom of Information Act request to show you the kind of answers that you get when you make them. I was asked to make such a request for the ballots. You can see it took them a week to even decide that they're going to give them to me, but it won't be for another 2 weeks until they're available and processed. My point here just being, I'd like to be treated like a mensch rather than a schmuck. And I feel like most of the time you guys treat me like a schmuck. All right, so what I want to talk about tonight is the main thrust of my argument. I just have a few minutes. And that is that Mr. Wilson and Ms. Walker told me yesterday that their position is that Department of Natural Resources has jurisdiction over all lakes in Thurston County. There is no such thing as a lake where the bottom is owned by private parties. A ridiculous position. And apparently they haven't read my brief, because my brief says where I came to the conclusion that our lake is privately owned. Who told me? DNR. DNR are the people who know which properties they have control over. Not Mr. Wilson. I can imagine the lawsuit. What's it going to be? Thurston County versus DNR. They should change our designation from private to public property. That's the crux of my argument. And I hear now that there's not going to be any environmental review until perhaps a year or more after you've started collecting taxes. Imagine when you get to the first one, which is going to be the Board of Health, the 3 commissioners sitting as a Board of Health and giving us that prescription. Because at that point, after the taxes have already been started to be collected, you're going to be faced with whether or not you're authorizing putting glyphosate on private property. That's what you're going to have to authorize in order to go forward. And furthermore, when you get to the DOE thing, same thing. Where's the whole basis of your argument if DNR says that they don't have jurisdiction over our lake? Aren't they the main source for what they have jurisdiction over? I don't know. I don't see how I can say it any clearer than that. I would point out that RCW 3661-160, the LMD statute, says public property included owned by the state of Washington shall be subject to special assessment to the same extent as private property is subject. So why was our boat launch assigned 16,200 votes? If you just do the math in your head, if a house is worth 500 votes, divide that into 16,000, don't you get something like 32? The boat launch gets the same vote as 32 houses in direct violation of this. I say I only have 30 seconds left, so let me just say in response to the seeming suggestion that I've been duplicitous, maybe I have. I'm not sure I have a requirement to not be duplicitous. Maybe I am holding some things back. Aren't you? Aren't you being duplicitous and not telling me what your lawyers have told you now after I've given you this thing for a month? And I was going to give you a list of all the ways you've mistreated me, but my time has run out. Thank you very much.
Anyone else in the boardroom? Okay, can we, we'll move on to Zoom. Can I imagine?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will be calling you your name based on the order that I have in my Zoom screen. First, I have Ms. Camille Kettle. Next, I have Mr. Nicholas Barry. Next, I have Ms. Paula Lowe. I'm wondering, can you hear me on the Zoom screen by any chance?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Ms. Paula Lowe. You have 4 minutes. You're on mute. You're still on mute.
Hello, this is Paula Lowe from Pattison Lake. I don't have any comments at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Mr. Joel Moreno. Next, I have Jesse Simmons.
No comments at this time. Thank you.
And I believe that concludes public testimony, Madam Chair.
Okay. So someone unmuted themselves. No?
No.
Okay. So that will conclude the opportunity for the public to address the board. Next is county manager's update.
Yeah, I want to follow up on last week's public testimony from Mr. Trowbridge. And I believe he already addressed that on his testimony this afternoon, where he asked the question about the ownership of the bottom of the lake. There was, I believe, concluded that DNR is the owner of the lakes. And I have a paper in here from DNR outlining their thought process. I'll be more than happy to share that with you. And that's all I have for you.
Thank you. Comments or questions from the board?
Not at this time, thank you.
Okay. With that, we'll move on to consent items A through E. Is there a matter on the consent agenda that a commissioner would like removed?
No, ma'am.
With that, we'll go ahead. I'm ready for a motion, sir.
I would move to approve consent items A through E.
I'll second. It's removed and seconded. This is a non-debatable motion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentor's excused. Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to department items. Item 4A from the Commissioner's Office, set a public hearing for 2023 midterm budget. And Nicole Martinez, our Budget and Fiscal Manager, will report on this item.
Yes, good afternoon, Commissioners. The item today is referring to the 2023 midterm budget. We are looking to set a public hearing for December 5th and December 6th. We will speak to specific strategic areas, law and justice, general government, capital improvement plan will be discussed. We will open for comments on December 5th. On December 6th, we will speak to transportation and environment and land use, health and human services, We will also open up for comment to discuss the revenue that supports the 2023 midterm budget. And
Thank
that is
you.
it. Thank you.
Questions from the board, Commissioner Edwards?
Not sure if this is for Nicole or the county manager. Isn't there a section during these budget hearings on the 5th and the 6th that allow the citizens to ask questions of either the department heads or the elected officials that are presenting? Is that?
Yes, sir, that is the schedule.
So there will be an opportunity on
and
the
each-
5th and 6th.
Yeah, in each of the sections that Nicole just highlighted, there will be an opportunity for the public to provide comment and ask questions.
And,
That is correct.
oh, okay. And will they be given an answer at that time that they ask the questions generally?
If the answer is readily available, absolutely. And the head of the offices and departments are required to be present to answer those questions.
Okay.
That is
Thank you.
correct.
That's my only question, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. With that, I'm ready for a motion.
Okay, on department items number 4, A, I would move to set a public hearing or set public hearings on December 5th, 2022 at 1:30 p.m., 4 o'clock p.m., 6 o'clock p.m., and 6:15 p.m. And on December 6th, 2022 at 1:30 p.m., 2:30 p.m., 4 o'clock p.m., and 6 p.m., or as soon thereafter as the matters may be heard at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building 1, Room 280, to receive public comments and questions on the 2023 midterm budget. I'd just like to know if I got that right. There was an omission there, I thought. But yeah, I'll restate it if I didn't state that properly.
I believe it's all inclusive. So whatever the board's pleasure is.
Thank you.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer's excused. Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. I'm going to request a 5-minute Good afternoon. We are back from break. It is 3:02 p.m. County Manager, I'm handing the floor off to you.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. You left the meeting to start the conversation item 4B, I believe. So Nicole Martinez is still on Zoom. And you have many department items. I will ask staff to be extremely brief in presenting the items this afternoon. So if you can take less than a minute to present your item, that will be extremely appreciated. So go ahead.
Thank you. So we will continue on with item 4B, which is to set a public hearing on revenue sources for the 2023 midterm budget. Nicole Martinez, our Budget and Fiscal Manager, will report on this.
Yes, Commissioner Mejia. The item 4B is concerning setting the hearing for the revenue, as you mentioned. The item before was detailed to explain all the different areas in which the public can speak to concerning the 2023 midterm budget. The setting the hearing for this item is specifically outlining the revenue that we will discuss with the public, and they will have an opportunity to comment and ask questions.
Thank you. Questions?
No questions, ma'am.
No questions for me either. I'm ready for a motion, sir.
Prior to my motion, I will say that if anybody out there that is following this on our TV today has any questions about any of the things that we're going to take legislative action on today, you could go to our agenda setting meeting from this morning and see a pretty good explanation of most of these topics, as we might be expediting a little through here due to upcoming conflicts. Okay, I'm prepared. Are you ready, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
I would move to set a public hearing on December 6th, 2022 at 4 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter may be heard at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building 1, Room 280, to receive public comments on the revenue sources for the 2023 midterm budget.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer's excused. Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. And thank you for letting the public know, Commissioner Edwards. Next is Community Planning and Economic Development. Item 5A, approve a contract with Mall, Foster, and Alonji Inc. Incorporated. And Andrew, our Associate Planner, will report on this matter.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Andrew Baum with Community Planning. Staff are requesting the Board of County Commissioners approve a contract with Mal, Foster, and Alonji Inc. to provide professional services for Comprehensive Plan Amendment Docket Item CP8, Industrial Lands Assessment RFP, with the amount of $84,810 and authorize the Director of CPED to execute the contract. The Board of County Commissioners initiated the assessment of industrial lands in Thurston County, which is included under CPA 8, Countywide Study of Industrial Lands, on the 2022-2023 Comprehensive Plan Amendment Docket. Thurston County issued the request for proposals on July 29, 2022. The consultant's work will be funded from the Community Planning's Professional Services budget. The study will cover economic trends, review existing supply, and address 3 growth scenarios over the next 20 years. Each scenario will be accompanied by recommended rezonings, changes to county policies, and changes to regulatory requirements. The assessment will help inform future land use and rezoning amendments related to industrial uses, as well as the county's periodic comprehensive plan update in June 2025. Thank you, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Andrew. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions at this time.
And no questions for me. I'm ready for a motion.
I would move to approve a contract with Mall, Foster, and Alonji Incorporated to provide professional services for Comprehensive Plan Amendment Docket Item, that's CP number 8, Industrial Lands Assessment RFP, with an amount of $84,810 and authorize the Director of Community Planning and Economic Development to execute the contract and approve amendments, including reallocating funds among tasks that do not exceed 10%.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer's excused. Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Next is item 5B, set a public hearing for Development Code Docket Item A-22, Boundary Line Adjustment Code Amendment, and Andrew Bond, our Associate Planner, will report on this matter.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Staff are requesting the Board of County Commissioners set a public hearing for Tuesday, December 13th at 3:30 p.m. or soon thereafter on docket item A-22 Boundary Line Adjustment Code Amendment. The Boundary Line Adjustment Code Amendment is part of the 2022-2023 Official Development Code Docket Item A-22 as a county-initiated amendment. The proposed amendment aims to bring the current BLA code language into compliance with state law and address programmatic issues. In addition, the proposed amendments will provide the application review process for applicants and permit staff by defining review processes, required application materials, and other regulatory requirements. The amendments will apply to rural Thurston County and all urban growth areas. The Planning Commission reviewed this item at a work session on August 17th, 2022. A public hearing was held on September 21st, 2022, followed by a recommendation from the Planning Commission 7-2 to recommend approval of the Boundary Line Adjustment Code Amendment. A SEPA determination of non-significance was issued on October 12th, 2022. The board was briefed on October 9th. At a follow-up briefing during agenda setting on October 25th, the board directed staff to bring forward an AIS to schedule a public hearing based on the Planning Commission's recommendations. Thank you, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
No questions for me. I'm ready for a motion.
I would move to set a public hearing on docket item A-22, Boundary Line Adjustment Code Amendment, for December 13th, 2022 at 3:30 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter may be heard at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building 1, Room 280.
I'll second. So moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer's excused. Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Emergency Services, item 6A, contract for FFY22 Homeland Security Grant number E23-113. Kurt Harding, our Emergency Services Director, will report on this item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Kurt Harden here from Emergency Services Department, requesting the Board of County Commissioners approve the Homeland Security Grant for federal fiscal year 2022 for the period of September 1st, 2022 to July 1st, 2025 in the amount of $233,948. This is an annual federal grant passed through the State Emergency Management Division to provide funding for Homeland Security Region 3. Revenues associated with this contract were anticipated and are included in the department's 2023 budget and will be recommended in the 2024 and 2025 budgets. This funding is 100% federal funds and no county general funding is needed. And subject to your questions, I'm requesting the board approve the Homeland Security Grant for federal fiscal year 2022 for the time frame September 1st, 2022 to July 1st, 2025 in the amount of $233,948.
Thank you, Kurt. Okay, questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, ma'am.
No questions for me. I'm ready for a motion.
I would move to approve the federal fiscal year 2022 Homeland Security Grant, FFY22, Henry Sam George Paul, number Edward 23-113, for the period of September 1st, 2022 through July 31st, 2025, for a total of $233,948, and authorize the interim director of emergency services to sign the agreement and any amendments that do not exceed 10%.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
Do they teach you that in law enforcement, how to come up with the acronym super quick?
I'm just trying to get through it quick.
Okay, with that, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer's excused. Commissioner Mejia?
Aye, motion passes. Item 6B is a contract for SFY 22-23, State Individual Assistance Grant Number D23-014.
Commissioners, I'm requesting that the board approve the State Individual Assistance Grant Agreement for the January 2022 flood DR-4650 in the amount of $365,000 for unmet individual assistance damage expenses incurred from the December 12th, 2021 to June 30th, 2023, and authorize the Director of Emergency Services to execute the agreement and any amendments that do not exceed 10%. In July, the state contacted Emergency Management, informing them that the legislature provided for funding to allow for individual assistance to those individuals who are impacted by extreme weather events or natural disasters in fiscal years 2022 and 2023. Citizens considered for this grant must meet eligibility requirements, and the household appliance replacement value is $6,400, with home repair limited to $37,900. This revenue was not anticipated and is not in the 2022 and 2023 budget, and is requested is requested as part of the BA2 budget request process. So I'm requesting the board approve the State Individual Assistance Grant Agreement for the January 2022 flood DR-4650 in the amount of $365,000 for individual unmet needs during the winter storm flooding that occurred December 12, 2021 to January 15, 2022. The performance period is December 12, 2021 to June 30, 2023.
Thank you, Kurt. Any questions?
No questions, ma'am.
Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
I would move to approve the State Individual Assistance Grant Agreement for January 2022 flood, that's DR 4650 funding, in the amount of $365,000 for unmet individual assistance damage expenses incurred December 12th, 2021 through June 30th, 2023, and authorize the Director of Emergency Services to execute the agreement and any amendments that do not exceed 10%.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer's excused. Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Thank you, Kurt.
Thank you.
Okay, Public Health and Social Services, item 7A, contract with Low Income Housing Institute for $1,741,380 in regionally pooled SHB 1406 funds for construction of the 2828 Martin Way Phase 2 Affordable Housing Project. Jacinda Stelgis, our Affordable Housing Coordinator, will report on this. Jacinda?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. The request is authorization to enter into a contract with Low Income Housing Institute for 1406 funds in the amount of $1,741,380. Those are pooled regional funds from City of Olympia, City of Lacey, City of Tumwater, City of Yelm, and Thurston County. And those funds will be, again, entered into contract with Low Income Housing Institute for construction of a 63-unit multifamily rental project at 2828 Martin Way, serving homeless seniors. And I am available for questions if there are any.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
And yeah, just for members of the public who would like to know more information about this, we had some discussion this morning as well as last Tuesday as well. So I'm ready for a motion, sir.
I would move to approve a contract with Low Income Housing Institute, LIHI, in parentheses, to assist in construction of 2828 Martin Way, Phase 2, and authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the contract and any amendments that do not exceed 10%. The contract is for an amount up to $1,741,380 in regionally pooled SBH, and that's Senate Substitute House Bill is supposed to be in it. I think it's SBH 1406 funds
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer's excused. Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Thank you. Item 7B, approve rent assistance, contract amendment with Washington State Department of Commerce. Thomas Webster, our Senior Program Manager, will report on this.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Tom Webster with Public Health and Social Services. So here to ask your approval to assign an amendment to a contract we have with the Department of Commerce under the Treasury Rent Assistance Program to add $2,231,623 to that contract. That will bring the total contract value to just under $15 million. This is funding that the Department of Commerce received from jurisdictions that they were unable to spend. So they asked us if we could use these funds. We said yes. So we're accepting these funds. These funds will need to be spent by December 29th of this year. And we have sufficient applications to make sure we do so. So we're asking for your approval to sign this contract amendment. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Commissioner Edwards.
No questions. Again, we had plenty of discussion over the last week or so about this topic. Thank you.
Yes. And no questions for me. I'm ready for a motion.
I would move to approve a contract amendment to the Washington State Department of Commerce Treasury Rent Assistance Program to add $2,231,623 for a total contract value of $14,987,318 and authorize the county manager to sign the contract amendment and any future amendments that do not change the amount or duration by more than 10%.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer's excused. Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Moving on to item C, which is connected to item B, is approve rent assistance contract amendment with Live Stories.
Yes, thank you again, Commissioner. So this motion, we're asking you to take the money that you just approved to receive from Commerce and then to award that and amend the contract we have with Live Stories, also known as Giaco Inc., to amend their contract to allow them to expend these funds. So that would bring their total contract value under this pot of money to just over $4.5 million. So again, these funds need to be spent by the December 29th of this year. And happy to answer any more questions.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
No questions for me. I'm ready for a motion.
I would move to approve a contract amendment with Giaco Incorporated, doing business as Live Stories, to add $2,231,623 for a total contract value of $4,542,585 to continue rent and utility assistance programs in Thurston County funded through the Washington State Department of Commerce under the Treasury Rent Assistance Program 1, and authorize the county manager to sign the contract and any amendments that do not change the amount or duration by more than 10%.
I will second. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer's excused. Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Public Works, item 8A, ordinance to adopt the amended speed limit schedule for the various county roads. This is a very contentious issue. Matt Unselman, Traffic Engineering and Operations Manager, will report on this. Matt?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Matt Unselman, Thurston County Traffic Engineer. I'll be quick. Public Works is requesting the Board of County Commissioners revise the speed limits on 8 different county roads. We held a public hearing on October 4th, which can be viewed on the Thurston County YouTube page, as well as a Board of County Commissioner briefing that discussed these revisions as well. The 8 roadways include all or portions of 93rd Avenue, 199th Avenue, Case Road, Fish Trap Loop, Houston Drive, Reclau Road, Tyrell, and Woodard Bay Road. With that, be happy to answer any questions.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions at this time, thank you.
No questions for me. I'm ready for a motion.
I would move to approve the ordinance amending the speed limits on all or portions of 93rd Avenue Southeast, 199th Avenue Southeast, Case Road Southwest, Fish Trap Loop Northeast, Houston Drive Northeast, Reckwall Road Southeast, Tyrell Road Southeast, Woodard Bay Road Northeast, and include the above-mentioned roads and designated speed limits in the Thurston County speed limit schedule.
I will second. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? And, I thought the public hearing was very engaging. We had a lot of residents from those areas come in and testify. So just a thank you to those who provided public testimony, as well as Matt for engaging the community on this topic. With that, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentor is excused. Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Item 8B, set a public hearing to update Thurston County water and sewer rates. Tim Wilson, our water resource manager, will report on this matter.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Tim Wilson, Water Resources Manager with Public Works. Staff is here today requesting the board set a public hearing for Tuesday, December 6th to accept and consider public comments on a proposed resolution adjusting Thurston County water and sewer rates and charges. To provide some background on the subject, Thurston County Code authorizes the Board of County Commissioners to set water and sewer rates and charges for the county by resolution and provides for periodic adjustments to the rates, charges, and fees for the county's water and sewer utilities. The cost of operating utilities increases every year due to escalating costs in repairs, supplies, power, staffing, benefits, and all elements of running the systems, including investment in needed infrastructure. Public Works is currently in the process of moving forward with the steps required for consolidation of the utilities, as previously discussed with the board in a briefing held on July 14th, 2022. As implementation of the consolidated utilities will take several months to complete, 2023 rate increases are needed within specific utilities to cover operational cost increases only. The utility advisory committees have been briefed on the recommended adjustments. Additionally, a communication and outreach plan was implemented that included a web page and utility bill inserts. And with that, I would answer any questions the board may have.
No questions, ma'am.
Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
I would move to set a public hearing for Tuesday, December 6th, 2022 at 5 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter may be heard at the Thurston County Courthouse, Room 280, Building 1, 2000 Lake Ridge Drive, Southwest, Olympia, Washington, to accept and consider public comments on a proposed resolution adjusting Thurston County water and sewer rates and charges.
I'll second the motion. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentor is excused. Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. That will conclude our department items. Moving on to the county manager standing items. Item 9A, commissioners will report on board work sessions and assigned committee meetings, providing updates on actions taken as well as upcoming issues. Commissioner Edwards.
I'll make this real short. Lacey South Sound Chamber Forum to hear their speaker, J.T. Wilcox, reporting on what's coming up in our legislative session in a few months. And then mostly constituent items around the Commissioner District Expansion Ballot Initiative, on the Lake Management District issues, and concerns about the airport expansion. That'll do it for me, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. I attended the SWAC meeting for Thurston County. I also did the ribbon cutting with you on for Latigo Street, the Fish Passage project, and attended the Intercity Transit Authority meeting where we had discussions on the budget. I did the election heroes recognition with the League of Women Voters yesterday, and that was thanking all of the election staff who come in and who are temporary and come in during this time and help count ballots and go through the whole election process. We had a regional housing executive meeting, not much to report on that, and the Port of Olympia Centennial Gala, where they were celebrating 100 years of operating. So with that, I will pass it to the county manager, who will review the Board of County Commissioners schedule for the week of November 8th, 2022.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will be walking you through your combined schedule for the next 2 weeks, considering the next Tuesday, November 15th meeting is canceled. Here in a couple minutes, you have a public hearing related to the Development Code docket, item 824, related to the Emergency Housing Ordinance. Followed by 4:30 this afternoon, your regular Board of Health meeting. Tomorrow, Wednesday, November 9th, you have been invited to participate at 11:30 in the morning to the Thurston County Chambers Forum. They will be discussing the impacts of crime on businesses, and that is going to be located at the Indian Summer Golf and Country Club at 5900 Troon Lane Southeast in Olympia. 1 in the afternoon, tomorrow, Wednesday, November 9th, you have a briefing related to the winter preparedness. 1:30 tomorrow, you have a briefing on wireless facilities as a follow-up to docket item A19. Thursday, November 10th, you have been invited to participate at 7:30 in the morning to the South Sound Military Communities Partnership Elected Officials Council Breakfast, and that is going to be located at the Eagles Pride Grill at 1527 Mounts Road Southwest. 10 in the morning, you will convene in this room to have a briefing related to the budget amendment number 2. At noon on November 10th, you have a briefing related to the American Rescue Plan spending strategies. And at 2 in the afternoon, Thursday, November 10th, you have been invited to participate on the grand opening of the Inner City Transit new building, and that is going to be held at the 510 Patterson Street, Southeast Olympia. Friday, November 11th, county business are closed in observance to Veterans Day. Monday, November 14th, Tuesday, November 15th, Wednesday, November 16th, you will be attending the County Leadership Conference of the Washington State Association of Counties. Thursday, November 17th, 9 in the morning, you have a follow-up briefing on the budget amendment number 2. At 1 in the afternoon, Commissioner Menser, Commissioner Edwards will be attending the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Administrative Services Organization board meeting at 1 in the afternoon. Friday, November 18th, you have been invited to participate at 8 in the morning to the South Thurston Economic Development Initiative meeting. And 1 in the afternoon, considering that you didn't have your regular agenda setting, 1 in the afternoon on November 18th, again, you will have the opportunity to review the agenda for the November 22nd Board of County Commissioners meeting. Nothing on Monday, November 21st, and on November 22nd, you have a busy day. The agenda setting at 9 in the morning. You have followed by a public hearing on the House and Urban Development Evaluation Report, and another public hearing on the amendments to the approved 2016-2019 annual action plans from HUD. And that afternoon, your regular board meeting is at 6 in the afternoon in this room. And that's all I have for you. 3:30 on the spot.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. This is for the public. Our meeting for next week, our agenda setting at 9 a.m. and our regular scheduled meeting at 2 p.m. Is canceled. The 3 county commissioners will be attending the Washington State Association of Counties County Leaders Conference in Renton. And this is a yearly occurrence that happens, and I guess the 3 of us are very lucky to be able to attend this year. So, and so we will be reconvening on the 22nd, and that will be our evening meeting of the month. So we will be having our Board of County Commissioners meeting at 6 p.m. for those of the public who would like to attend or tune in. That it is 3:31. We are adjourned, and we will be picking up with the public hearing to update their public hearing for emergency housing ordinance docket item A-24.
Is the same.